Hello, we are live. Right, let's get Robin on. So, while I'm just finding Robin, welcome to Ultra News. So it's been a while since we did an Ultra News. So I just thought with everything going on in the world at the minute. Sure, got lots to talk about. So we're going to talk about Barkley, obviously. What's been happening. We are going to talk about. Yes.
Hello.
How's it going, mate?
Yeah, good. Are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, you just you're fresh off your evening run, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. 5K of lovely fat picked off for the day.
Nice. So you've been going on double runs at the minute. You're out at lunchtime as well, are you normally?
Yeah. Normally, no double runs for me at the moment. No. In fact, it's been a nice, easy week actually. To be fair.
Yeah, and the sun's out again finally.
It is. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. See, you're going to talk about Barkley.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about Chianti as well. So let's talk about Barkley first. Then you go. This is your
Okay.
This is your current obsession. So
yeah, it was. So yeah, the number one headline: no finishes of the Barkley this year. So many different reasons why that could have been. I think the main reason was 5 people finished last year, and Laz was not going to let that happen again.
No.
So there's a whole bunch of data taken from social media. We've not had proper full reports from anybody yet, but from what I can gather is there were 2 big hills that were included that weren't in last year's route. One of which was to the first book, and Keith Dunn, the ever knowing Keith Dunn from I was watching it on Blue Sky this time instead of Twitter. Put out 50. If someone reaches book 1 within the first hour, then they're on pace to reach the 100 miles. And then he immediately followed that with spoiler alert: no one's reached book 1 yet after the first hour. So almost immediately we knew it was going to be tough and that no one was going to do it. There's some interesting information sort of surrounding that, apart from the fact that the first book was up a hill so treacherously steep that apparently one runner was reported to have fell 10 times in the daytime just getting to this book. That's the first book of I don't know how many there were. There's 9 to 15 generally. I don't know how many there were this time. And they also had another hill referred to as Ball Bearing Hill. Can only assume it was very difficult. If anyone had seen, so the furthest anybody got was 3 laps, the fun run. So in order to continue to lap 4, you had to finish in under 36 hours. No one did that. And then there's an extra 4 hours added to finish the fun run, as they call it, in under 40 hours. And John Kelly was the only man to do this, finishing 39 hours, 50 minutes, 27 seconds. So only just made it back. And if you'd seen the video of the state of his legs at the end, he's scratched to pieces. And he said if he'd had perfect fueling, perfect sleep, perfect training, everything to the very top level of his conditioning, then maybe he might have been able to finish it. But other than that, no.
And that's saying something coming from him, isn't it?
Yeah.
From John.
Exactly.
It's his backyard, isn't it? And he's made a habit of keep going back to that race, and he's got 3 finishes. Got 3 finishes there, hasn't he?
3 finishes, yeah.
Yeah. So if that's him, if that's what he's saying about it, then yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there's also some interesting data on the fact that there was a tornado the month before, which could have really laid waste to what if any trails are in this damn national park. Lots of downed trees everywhere. So I think the territory there was even more tricky to navigate than normal. Also, there weren't as many veterans this time round. So there's a strong argument that the inexperienced people weren't able to have their hand held on the first couple of loops by people who've been successful the last couple of years. So people were coming back from all sorts of different locations, lads just absolutely loving it when someone comes back from the wrong direction, just knowing that he completely nailed it. And completely nailed it as no one's finished. And I would be very surprised if anybody, if he changes the course at all from this year to the next year, or at least some variation of it.
Do you think he's sort of like he's kind of not realised, but the fact that people have finished and a big group of people finished together, didn't they, last year? So
yeah,
in Lass's mind, is this he tends to do this, doesn't he? There tends to be like a spell where people are have a bit of success, and then he changes something drastically, and then it goes back to like 2 or 3 years of nobody finishing.
Yeah. I don't think he could. I mean, it was going to go one or the other way, wasn't it? Either 7 or 8 people would finish this year, or none. So I think, we've had none.
Yeah.
No, what else is there to report that I found out? I mean, the Japanese guy, he came in to the end of loop 2 before Sun did, but still didn't manage to finish the fun run. So I don't know what happened there, because normally they go one clockwise or anti-clockwise each loop, so maybe one way around is harder than the other, as it was last year for Jasmine.
True, yeah. I think that one way is harder than the other, but then I suppose if it's changed, the route's changed, then that route that's hard is going to be even harder, isn't it? Because it's something that they haven't done before in either direction. So yeah, and I did hear that the hill that had been added in was like an extra 45 minutes compared to what was there before, apparently. So you think about that how Jasmine finished with like 90 seconds or something, then so adding in a 45-minute hill is obviously going to sort people out into.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like we knew that Ben Wernick from the UK, he's a super strong runner who holds the Guinness World Record for most elevation in a single day. What was it, 22,000 meters, something like that. So he's, no slouch of a runner. Like as you said as well, like won Wild Horse 200 last year, or was it the year before? A really great runner, and I don't even know whether he finished loop 1. So I think a large part of it will be down to navigation.
I know. Did you see Max King's post about his experience?
I didn't know what he
called that. I called that tonight, just when I was just getting ready, and basically it sounds like he was first to be tapped out after 6 hours because everything was going great until it wasn't. He thought that he'd bashed his knee against a rock or something, and it turned out he'd like popped a bit of his meniscus out of his knee. So in his story on his post on Instagram, he sort of said how he thought, I can like get somebody to just pull my leg and they'll be able to just sort of pull it back into line again. Obviously that didn't work. Tried pulling it against a tree, and then apparently like sat in a stream or in a river, and obviously it didn't work. So he said that he went and got another page from a book and then called it a day and tapped himself. In the kind of like pedigree that Max King has got, everyone was, I was expecting him to, obviously you can't help, having something like that happen, like a freak accident. And when you think about his pedigree in like adventure racing and quick runner over rough terrain,
just
with him like
on the dragon's back.
But he can throw down with some speed over rough terrain. So he'd have been a favourite if things hadn't gone his way. So Barkley won this year.
It did by a landslide. And maybe that's what they were trying to pick their way through by the sounds of it. Who knows? It would be amazing to be on the course at some point, wouldn't it? Might even just have to take a trip out to Tennessee just to see what this place is like.
Yeah, if you fancy a holiday in the middle of March to go somewhere that's very similar in weather to here, or maybe
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go somewhere warm in March, to be honest. Yeah, it's not. I don't know about you, but I know I do like sort of gritty races, and
Mm.
obviously with doing a few, bits and bobs of the spine and stuff. I like a tough race, but I still don't really get the appeal of Barclays. I do understand that it's like an iconic race and everything, but at the minute I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't mind not going out there doing that. What about you?
No, I don't think I'm ever going to get invited out to the Barkley. So probably just let that one lie.
Never say never. Never say never.
Never say.
Yeah,
You never know. Might arise as UK's premium ultra runner yet.
yeah. There's time. There is time. There is time. Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen now then? Do you think we're going to have like a few years of nobody finishing?
I don't. Yeah, he's not going to go back on it. So it's going to be when people can rise to the latest challenge.
Yeah.
I think people generally get quicker every year in every other aspect of running. So why not
Yeah,
the
and I
Barkley?
suppose they figure it out as well, don't they? If the route is similar again next year, then people go back knowing,
Exactly.
expecting those changes, and but
Yeah.
then Laz, with his sense of humour is likely
Yeah.
to likely to likely to change it again. Yeah, great comment from Gazitude that hardest geezer is going to be on the start line next year. Yes, the hardest grifter as he's been known this week. Yeah, we won't talk about this week. Well, there's no evidence knocking around for that. That's what we're talking about. um, so yeah, and any final thoughts on Barkley then?
I'm quite pleased that no one finished. I didn't really like the whole cool thing about this race was how difficult it was, right? And how few people, 20 people finishing in over 30 years. I didn't want it to be that suddenly everyone was able to finish this, and then it feels like it would just sort of dwindle away and just go in a different direction. I want it to remain really difficult, one of the most, not the most difficult race in the world. So I'm quite pleased that no one finished it.
Yeah,
How about you?
well, yeah, I think if it's not gained that reputation over the years, has it, by loads of people having success at it. It's got that reputation of being a tough race because basically people haven't finished it, and it's like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it, that people have to figure out over years. I know, like from what Jasmine was saying and Damo, that you keep having to go back to try and figure out the puzzle until you get it right, and then you get it right, and he changes the route.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's certainly going to be as difficult next year. I can't see anyone finishing then either. Maybe John might. You never know. Depends how much he wants it. How can he keep going back year after year?
well, it's his local trail, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's that's where he's from. So
yeah, oh, yeah, fair enough.
awesome. Right, moving on then. So Chianti by UTMB is
Mm.
happening this weekend. So that's something that I've been looking at and waiting. So everyone's been waiting this week to see what Killian's been doing with it, because obviously he sort of apparently he's went a bit quiet on social media and on Strava and everything, and apparently he was like still at home in Norway doing some runs like yesterday, and people were sort of thinking, oh, he's not going. Has she had the baby? What's happened? And as it turns out, we saw that post, didn't we, that
Yeah,
she had the baby last week, was
yeah,
it? So baby is here, and it seems that Normal have put a post out saying that he's going to be there, and there's going to be this battle between Jim. So Jim Walms is going to be there. Obviously, he's posted about it. Killian and Alazine is going to be there as well from Normal, and obviously Vincent Bouillard, who obviously
yeah.
did amazing last year at UTMB,
Mm-hmm.
winning that. So it's a bit of a showdown between those guys, and obviously there's 4 golden tickets on offer for that for whoever needs them. And obviously, they're not the only people in the race. We've got some guys out there, guys and girls out there. So Tom Jolly is out
Yeah,
there. Luke Grenfell-Shaw is out there.
yeah.
He's coming on the podcast next week to talk about it. So he'll be on
Did he just win one of the arc patrician distances? I'm sure I recognise his name. Maybe I'm wrong.
I can't remember. It's gone out of my head anyway.
He didn't.
He's a
Never mind, carry on.
And Fee Pascal
Yeah,
is going to be out there as well. So my Fee is my favourite for the women's race. I'm pretty certain that she's going to be going for it. She's got a bit of there's going to be a bit of competition there for her, but she seems fired up for it. So looking forward to see how she does. But that's going to be, because obviously there's the golden ticket story, isn't there? So everyone's kind of looking for this unbreakable 15-year anniversary get together, basically the 15-year anniversary of that film, the Western States film.
Yeah.
With Killian in it, obviously. So
incredible film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing when you watch that film and you see how young Killian looks on that. He's like in his early 20s, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's going back as an absolute goat, isn't he? Yeah, obviously, if things go his way. So that's going to be a great race, isn't it? So I think obviously everyone's going to be eyes on Chianti this weekend to see what happens, see who gets the golden tickets, people who need them. I'm hoping that the Brits do well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what. I think Tom Jolly is due a break. He's had a bit of a rough time from sort of a couple of times, and he's a great guy, and he's thrown his heart and his soul into running. Basically, like living as a pro, making himself a pro runner. And he's really invested in it, and he just seems to have a bit of misfortune every now and then, like with injuries and overtraining and stuff. So for his sake, I hope he does really well. And obviously Luke is really fast, and Fee we know is a great runner. So I'm sure between the three of them there's going to be some action for the Brits, definitely. But obviously everyone's thinking ahead as well for Western States and what's going to be going on for that. What are your sort of takes on Chianti? Have you had a look? Because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 distances. Obviously, UTMB like to get the money's worth, don't they? So you've got 120k, 73k, 46k, 20k, and 10k, which is like that's the way that they put those races on, into it. Or every UTMB race has those divisions because obviously they like to have lots of races on, so which is fair enough. They can do that. So what are your thoughts on Chianti, and who's your eye on for the golden tickets?
Yeah, 120k is not bad for a 100-mile sort of tip, is it? They've really skipped on the extra 41k like marathon. Absolutely, Tom Jolly. I'm really rooting for. I really hope that he gets a just result because he trains so hard as well. And as you say, like threw himself into being a pro runner. Like he really deserves something good out of that. But it is a stacked field, isn't it? So it could be anybody's race. There's that Stian Norwegian guy as well, who always races well in Golden Trail. Man, it's hard to pick someone out. I don't know who Zach Garner is, but he's got a very high UTMB, and so he must be pretty decent then.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. It's always hard to look past Jim Walmsley, isn't it? Especially that sort of race distance. I think I'd just almost accept that he's probably going to win. Maybe I'll probably say Jim. I mean, I hope that Killian. I don't know what sort of fitness shape he's in. He's been doing so many crazy little
mountains and stuff.
Mountains, that crazy alpine thing connection that he did. So I've no idea what shape he's in. He's not unbeatable, which surprised me the first time I started digging into it. So maybe him second, and then I don't know. Hard to look past Vincent Bouillard going under 20 hours, didn't he? Under on UTMB. So if he's carried any fitness through,
yeah, I suppose he sort of proved himself, last year with that, didn't he? That he can sort of not come from nowhere, because people, knew who he was, but obviously he's like he works for Hoka, doesn't he? He's like in the like, is he like in shoe development, design and development and stuff, and he was a bit of an underdog, wasn't he? But he just sort of came through. Everyone fell apart at the front. He just stormed through and sort of took the win. So I think you can't really rule him out, can you? But also, I would love to see a battle at the front between Jim and Killian. And I think that will set the tone as well for Western States. So if Killian, goes to Western States, then I think this is the sort of showdown that everyone's going to be looking for. And obviously, you've got David Roach there, the absolute workout king. He is going for it, isn't he? So I think this is I think the reason why everyone's so excited about Chianti is because of what it kind of sets out for the rest of the summer and what's going to happen in other races. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. And then just while we're talking about Jim, I also saw that Rob, I keep getting his name now, Farvard, broke Jim's course record last week at, is it 9 Trails in California? A race that that Jim famously went and like destroyed the course record on in 2019 or something like that, and Rod has come in and he's taken that course record. So everyone is saying that I know we're not talking about Western States specifically, but this is, it all plays into this same scenario, this same story of these guys all going in doing the final showdown at Western States. Even though I suppose obviously UTMB is the final showdown, but who's going to be in shape after putting everything into Western States to then go and do battle at UTMB? Maybe UTMB will be a quieter race this year. I don't know, because everyone's sort of focused on Western States. Maybe.
Maybe. Back at the women's race as well. There's Claire Banworth as well.
She was at Barkley though, wasn't she? So
did she actually go?
I heard. Well, good point. Actually, I don't know actually, because I know she was on the list of people that was there on Keith's spreadsheet.
Oh right, was she?
But then she must have signed up for Chianti as well. Yeah. Obviously, when you're such a high level runner, you can sign up for multiple races on the same weekend and then just decide what you're going to do.
Maybe it's like a red herring to throw people off that she was in Barkley.
Yeah, true. Maybe. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And there's also Sabrina Vergie's doing it as well.
Is she? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's just a bit further down the list.
Oh, okay. So someone's just put in the chat that there was a picture of her at the gate. So Claire Banworth,
she's definitely not going to be there then.
Definitely not going to be at Chianti. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Tom.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom, for putting us right with that. Appreciate you.
Yeah. As you mentioned, there's El Hassan Al-Azawi. Yeah, he's doing the 20K distance.
Golden Trail. Golden Trail master, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's just going to blast around that and then leave everyone in his dust.
Yeah, he's going to blitz that, isn't he? 20K will be done in 15 minutes.
Yeah, and Judith Wider as well. She's another Golden Trail master. She's doing the marathon distance, so expect her to win as well.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, there's plenty of people to follow, isn't there? Just final thoughts then on Chianti. What who are you sort of are you looking forward to seeing do well then? Are these ones that you've already sort of mentioned?
It's mainly Tom. Just because I saw him at the running show in 2023, 24. I can't remember when it was. And he's just such a nice guy, and he just seems so off radar to everyone. But he's got the talent to be on on the radar. So I want it to come good for him,
Yeah.
so that he can get the recognition he deserves.
He is getting noticed now. It's sort of internationally. I've heard his name been dropped a couple of times by Dylan Bowman on Free Trail and Corin Malcolm. So he's a name that is there. So hopefully he'll do well. Yeah.
Hope he gets like top 5 or something. I bet that'd be well within his. That I bet he'd be thrilled with that. So yeah, that'd be wicked.
Absolutely, awesome. And any other news? I've got a little bit of news that I can share while you're thinking about random news. So episode 4 of Home Trails is booked. So hopefully she won't mind me sort of revealing. So the people have spoken, and Lucy Gossage has agreed to episode 4 of Home Trails. So that's going to be filming for that will be is going to be first week or second week in April, in a hometown of Nottingham. So it's going to be a bit of a different angle. So obviously, she was a bit. She won't mind me saying this. Hopefully, she was sort of like, I haven't got the backgrounds shots that everybody else, has had for all their like spectacular vistas in the background, running on trails in the mountains and stuff. It's going to be round. And I was like, no, that is perfect, because that is the whole point of her episode, is showing that she came from, her triathlon backgrounds, and showing that somebody can come from, you don't have to live in the Lake District, you don't have to, live in the middle of the Peak District and have trails and mountains and hills to run around on as training. You can do well running up just on your local trail, on your local paths and stuff around, along the River Trent. And it shows that, a race like the Spine is doable for people because you might look at that and think, I haven't got the train to train on for that kind of race. I don't have the conditions, that sort of background. But she's come in with that cycling and triathlon background, and she's over a couple of years she's gone right straight to the top and won that race. So I just think, it's going to be a different angle with that episode, but I think it's going to be one that sort of resonates with people a bit more, that probably look at the other episodes of Home Trails and think, I'll never be to that standard. When you've got like Jack and Kim and Jasmine and stuff that all running in the mountains and stuff, and in on a trail running like me. It might be a flat trail, it's not. So hopefully people will sort of appreciate that. So looking forward to that. As long as you don't cancel between now and then. At least you got hassling her and asking her every other week. So
I'm sure she won't. But yeah, run commuting speaks to a lot of people, doesn't it? So doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Getting the miles in where you can. There's her story just ticks so many boxes for everyone, doesn't it? I'm really looking forward to seeing just her in her home territory. As you say, it doesn't matter where it is.
Yeah.
She still gets it done on the race course where it matters, doesn't she? So yeah, exactly. I'd love to see that. Last thing, I don't know whether it's true or not, but apparently Damien Hull was going to do the Barkley, but he didn't reply in time.
I heard that same rumor, but I don't know. I think that came from our mutual friend.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is. Yeah,
maybe he was just winding her up.
Maybe. Yeah. Everyone likes a little whisper, don't they?
Yeah, that would be funny if it is true.
It would, yeah.
Missing the email. That would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably seen it and thought, well, I'm glad I didn't go now.
Dodged a bullet, yeah.
Awesome. Right. Appreciate you coming on, Robin. And I realised that we haven't done this in ages, have we? So we haven't done an Ultra News episode. So I'll make sure we get one booked in regularly. So next time there's stuff going on, we'll get one booked in, and I'll release this. I'll put the video of this on YouTube, and I'll also rip the audio off it and put that out as like a standalone short podcast episode for people who want to have a listen back. So if you missed the live, if you just sort of just join in now, realise that we've been on since 8 o'clock. So yeah, you can catch up with that. All right.
Nice one.
Cheers for
Yeah.
coming on, mate. Thanks
Enjoy
for joining, everyone. See you. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye bye.